morning, Miss Gabrielle Marie Terencio. I am the assigned leader of Group 2 from BEED 2B, Alan Morazet A. Elisen, under your subject Facilitating Learning-Centered Teaching. The designated topics for our group are the Gangné's Conditions of Learning and Ausubels' Meaningful Verbal Learning, or the subsumption theory.
Robert Gangné's theory of instruction have a great contribution of important ideas in the field of instructions. It is also a beneficial to the instructional designers, trainers, and even to the teachers. But before we dive deeper to his theory, we must know who is Gangné first. Robert Mills Gangné was an American educational psychologist best known for his conditions of learning. He was born in August 21, 1916. In his living, he created the 9-step process that detailed each element required for effective learning. The model is useful for all types of learning, even though it only focuses on how to apply it to the training of your team in a work environment. The 9 levels of learning provide step-by-step approach that can help managers, trainers, and facilitators structure their training so that their students or teams get the most from their learning opportunities, or a key on how to unlock the door of more learning opportunities.
So for now, we will talk about the 5 categories of learning outcomes of Gangné's theory. So we have verbal data. Usually, is cognitive space for explanatory information obtained through formal tutoring, books, TV, and etc. and can be reviewed whereas playing diversions. The individual is able to state something. This includes both information and comprehension. We will memorize something without understanding the meaning, but we are able moreover learn and coordinated the information with the data we as of now have. Intellectual skills. These are the comparable to procedural information. There are 5 subcategories: discrimination, concrete concepts, defined concepts, rules, and higher order rules. One must advance through these categories in order. We have number 3, cognitive strategies. This involves how a learner guides their process learning, considering acting and feeling. Cognitive methodologies offer assistance to the learners to learn and use information. These methodologies can be instructed or can be arrived by trial and mistake of the learner. And for number 4, we have attitudes. Attitudes are considered an affective domain. Gangné defines attitudes as acquired internal states that influence the choice of personal actions towards some class of things, persons, or events. Attitudes can be a motivating factor for learners. An example of an attitude is something choosing to eat organic foods because they believe it to be healthier and they will live longer. For the last one, we have motor skills. For this, Gangné defines motor skills as the use of muscles for the accurate executions of performance. To be a motor skill, the improvement of the skill can be attained solely by repetitions of the skill.
Gangné's 9 events of instruction attempts to relate the external events of instruction to the outcomes of learning by showing how these events lead to the enhancement of internal learning processes. Gangné emphasizes that the purpose of an instructional theory is to propose a rationally based relationship between instructional events, their effects on learning processes, and the learning outcomes that occur as a result. Here are the 9 events of instruction. Starting with gaining attention. The initial event of instruction is to capture pupils' attention and keep them alert for stimulus. The attention-getting stimulus chosen will function equally well for all types of learning outcomes, followed by informing learner of the objective. The learner is informed of the purpose and the intended outcomes of the learning material in the second event of instruction. This will instill in them a sense of expectation that will last throughout the learning process. Third, stimulating recall of prior learning. The third instruction event requires the educator to recollect skills or knowledge that students have already gained. The optimum type of recall is one that is naturally related to the subject matter being learned. Fourth, presenting the stimulus. The fourth instructional event states that the stimulus content should be tailored to the learning outcome. If the stimulus is an intellectual skill, the instructor can show the icon and/or symbols that require a concept or rule to be understood, or he or she can present the problem learners must answer. Fifth, providing learning guidance. The fifth instructional event, providing learning advice, necessitates the instructor making the stimulus as meaningful as possible. Depending on the expected learning outcome, there are numerous approaches to do this.
6. Eliciting performance or responding. Let the learner do something with the newly acquired behavior, skills, or knowledge. Provide them with practice activities to activate the learning process. This activity allows the learner to internalize the new information, skills, and knowledge, and to ensure correct understanding and application of the knowledge concepts. Ways to activate learner processing include: have the learner do something with the newly acquired behavior. Have the learner demonstrate practicing skills. Have the learner apply knowledge to a scenario or case study. Ask questions so that they can show their knowledge. And ask the learner to demonstrate how to use it. Have them complete a role-playing exercise. 7. Providing feedback reinforcement. After the learner attempts to demonstrate their knowledge, provide immediate feedback of learners' performance to assess and facilitate learning. This is also a good time to reinforce any important points. This stage helps reinforcement of a correct answer, gives guidance as to the degree of correctness of the task, and provides corrective feedback if the response or behavior is incorrect. Tips on providing feedback: be positive, be objective, use first-hand observation, deliver focused and concise feedback, focus on areas the student can control. 8. Assessing performance or retrieval. In order to evaluate the effectiveness of the instructional events, administer a test to the learner to determine if the expected learning outcomes have been achieved. Performance should be based on previously stated objectives. Methods for assessing performance learning include: written test, short questionnaires, short essays, oral questioning, other measurement tool to show that they've learned the material or skill effectively. 9. Enhancing retention, transfer, or generalization. Give the learner resources that enhance retention and transfer of knowledge so that they are able to internalize the new knowledge and enhance his or her expertise. Repeated practice with effective feedback is the best way to ensure that people retain information and use it effectively. Methods for helping learners internalize new knowledge include: having them summarize content, having them generate examples, having them create mind maps or concept maps, having them create outlines, having them create job aids, having them